Well, welcome back, and we're going to start showing you how to play some games. There are several games we're going to show you, but I'd like to begin with a very simple game that you can use during the vocabulary building section of Lesson 1 and many of the other lessons where there's vocabulary learning. The game is called Tic-Tac-Toe, and if you're not familiar with the game, let me explain it very quickly to you. The first thing you have to do is to divide your class into two teams, and hopefully you have enough students so that you have equal number of teams. You draw 4 lines, 2 vertical, 2 horizontal, and you take pictures that come from your vocabulary lesson and any other lessons or pictures that your students have already learned, and they need to have already learned them, by the way, and you put them face toward the board like this. You see how each of the pictures are hidden. And the strategy of the game is that one team will be X, one team will be O, and the strategy is to be able to get consecutive marks, either your mark on a diagonal or on a horizontal or on vertical, going any direction, as long as 3 are in a consecutive form. Every time you say something correctly, if a person from the X team comes and says the word correctly, then an X goes into that square. And the goal is that once you win, you can maybe have a little prize for the winning team, something like that. This is also great for working together as a team, as your students work together, helping one another. Okay, so you, first of all, after you divide the team and you explain the strategy, how they have to do it, then here are the rules. The team who wins and starts first selects one person to come to the board. While they come to the board, while they're on the board, the team members can share with him or her which picture from which square they want them to pick. And once they pick the picture and show it to the rest of the team members and the other team, then they have to put the name of the object in a complete sentence. This is an apple. If they say it correctly, then their mark goes in that square. But once they pull this off, there's no more discussion. The team members can't tell them what the right word is. All right? After they do that, then the next team comes up. They select a person to come forward, and they go through the same process. They can say, well, if they got this one correct, maybe we can do one on the other side, and they can work on strategy of how to get their O's across here before the X's get theirs across. And so they tell them, okay, take this particular square. And so, okay, they pull it off, and they look at it, and they say, a family. This is a family. And if they get it correct, then they get an O there. And now the next team comes, and then they have to select another person to come forward. And they have one X here, and there's an O here, so they have to decide, do we want to go this way, or do we want to build it this way? And they can discuss among themselves which picture to pull off the board. And once they decide which picture to pull off the board, then they have to say, this is a girl. And if they get it correct, then they get an X up here, and they have 2. Now the strategy is that the team that's O has to come down here and block them. So obviously they're going to say, when they select a person to come forward, they're going to ask them to pull this one off to keep them from getting all 3 X's together. So they will have to pull it off, and they will have to say, this is a man. So that's the strategy, and I think maybe your teachers, you've maybe played this game. If so, you can explain it even further with your team. But if you've never played this game before, it's really a fun game, and you can use it often in your vocabulary building skills. And it's called Tic-Tac-Toe, and be sure to have lots of fun and laughter with your team. All right? That's great. We're going to look at some of the other games right after this, so you practice playing this one.